Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the LaunchDay podcast. I'm your host, Dean Cvetkoski, a.k.a. WhoDean. Here in studio today, we have a wonderful lady. I tell you, I've had many conversations with her, and she absolutely blows my mind with how inspiring she can be, and she's such a breath of fresh air. I'd like to introduce Olivia Mangold. Olivia, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much. And thank you for welcoming me like that. I'm very blessed that you think that highly of me. So thank you.
I don't know anyone who doesn't see you that highly, right? So, something to own, definitely, for sure.
Yes.
So, Olivia, listen, I've known you to be a hairdresser, right? Or is it hairdresser and beauty? So you cover the makeup as well?
Both, hair and beauty.
Hair and beauty, right. What got you into that?
Do you know what? I often have conversations within my industry with young ones saying, what do you want to do like when you leave school? And there's so many, I don't know, but I never had that issue. As soon as I could remember, like I think I found my year 6 Vowel book, and it was like when I grow up, I wanted to be a hairdresser and specifically a nail artist.
Love that.
The beauty wasn't in there, so I wasn't sure where that came from. But I wanted to be a hairdresser. So I actually never wanted to do anything else as far as I remember. So it came quite easily when I wanted to leave school as soon as I could. Year 10 out straight to applying for an apprenticeship. So, and when I left, I was like, I'll do hair or beauty, like I said. So I applied for both and hair came first for me. So that's how I got into the industry, but I never had the challenges of having to figure out what I wanted to do. So that was good. I got straight to it and loved it.
That's
Finished
awesome.
it and have been in the industry ever since. I think circa maybe 15, 16 years.
So about since you were born?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just straight out of the womb onto hair.
That's right. No, you're good. It's good. That's awesome. Honestly, that is really, really cool. You definitely, I mean, you when you say you've been doing it 15 years, you definitely don't look, you don't look a day past 30.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you definitely, you're doing a really good job. I mean, that's
I think
crazy.
it's because I'm in the hair and beauty industry.
You reckon? I love
you look
that.
after your skin and you learn all those things at a very young age. So
absolutely,
all that skincare paying off.
Absolutely, that's all those skincare routines. That's something I haven't quite nailed just yet. They're doing the skincare routine. Is it common for men to be doing skincare routines?
It's more common. I think, and if you actually, and this is where I like to come in and educate, if you go past the fact whether you're a man or woman or whatever that looks like, if you just look at the skin and health, then everybody should be looking after it. And then that can change the mindset about like, why would I do that being a male, of course. So it's being educated on the skin and the longer term preventatives of skin cancers, wrinkles, fine lines, all those things, and just looking after it in general. And then once you do it, I always say 21 days to break a habit. So then after 21 days, you're like if you don't do it, you start to think, oh my gosh, something's missing. You feel like you're missing something, and it just becomes so seamless. But I've never known anyone to regret a skincare routine at all.
Well, I don't know how I'm doing. I think I've got double bags. I've got wrinkles on my forehead and around my eyes. What's your advice for someone like me to
just start?
To start, it's probably a good
start. Probably just start.
That is the best advice I've ever received.
Is if you've never done it, just start.
Yeah,
just start somewhere. No, but I can educate you about that and give you something basic. I don't like to overwhelm people and go, you need 500 things, do this. Just start with a basic routine, and when that becomes easy, and then you start to feel or see the difference, you want to add more, and then you can go from there.
That's awesome. Going back to like how you grew up and, when you were in year 6, you're like, you would be a hairdresser and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember what I put on mine. I said I wanted to be the Prime Minister.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most random
still an
thing.
Option, right?
I don't know.
You still want to be a Prime Minister?
Well, the way that politics are going right now, I don't know if I want to be in politics, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
Absolutely. So look, you when did you actually start getting into hair and beauty? So like, were you, because I know a few people that have gone and they've left high school age 16, they get into it like a, hairdressing apprenticeship, stuff like that. Like how did that journey start for you?
Pretty much that. So basically left year 10, went and applied hair and beauty, got into hairdressing. So at the time it was 4 years. So I did that, but I left one employer, and at that point actually things had changed. So it was 3 years. So I was lucky enough to be signed off early. So I ended up only doing the 3-year apprenticeship. And then as soon as I finished that, I think I had a couple of a 3-month break because it was Christmas. And if anyone works in retail, especially hair and beauty, you don't get Christmas. There's no such thing. So
yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to leverage this little break And when I got back, I started the new year and went into my diploma of beauty therapy. And whilst I did that, I did my cert 2 in nail tech. So I didn't want to stop. I just flowed. And then after doing beauty, it's really weird because I'm like loud and I was like, and I'm very heavy handed. So I didn't think I'd be a good beauty therapist based on, I don't know where I got that opinion from.
When you say heavy handed, all I can think of is like, show me your nails. They're just like grabbing them and pulling forward. You know? Yeah.
Have you met me? I'm like, well, when I walk in, I'm like, yep, let's go. So I didn't think I'd suit the industry, which like I said, I have no idea where I got that perception from, but I enjoyed it a lot. And it's one, like I love it still to this day, both of them. But beauty is a little bit different to the hairdressing industry, even though they're combined. So I do love it very, very much. And I never wanted to. So when I did that, after I finished, I actually went and worked in beauty full time. So I think I had maybe 4 years, maybe 3 years off the hair industry. And then my goal was I wanted a one-stop shop. That was my thing. I want to be able to come and go to work and be able to do everything that I love, not just one specifically to the other. So that's where having my business now comes in. And I own Insignia Hair Day Spa, and that is everything. So hair, beauty, massage, nails, everything you can think of except for like your lasers and stuff like that and tattoo removal, all the a bit more complex things. But I got my one-stop shop.
Is there plans for that, like doing like laser and hair removal, tattoo removal and stuff? To be honest,
I've done hair removal and the tattoo removal. I just feel like there is already enough people doing that, specializing in that. And we're more of a day spa vibe. So you come in and you relax.
You get pampered.
Yeah. So it doesn't really fit that sort of a vibe, but I'm also very passionate about the skin. So then there's a skin clinic side that I introduce without having the laser. I just feel like there's so many other people doing that quite well that I don't need to, but I mean, never say never.
Can you tell me about the experience? Because I know for me personally, I go to a barber and there's some that I go nearby here, and it's just rough as guts. Like they sit there and they're just, they're like, it's like they're digging the clippers into my head. I'm like, mate, what the fuck are you doing? You all right? Like, did you have a bad night last night? Are you okay? Did someone make you angry? And then, there's other places where I go and, like a lot of these places you go and it's just in and out. And you're just like, yeah, they're just trying to get as many done as possible.
Yeah.
And then other places that I go to where they just really take their time. Like there's one spot on my face and they're sitting there like for about maybe 4 whole minutes with the clipper. Yeah. And I'm like, what do you do in that 4 minutes? You know what I mean? Like it's a whole hour experience. And but it's they come in, they get the hot towels, they smell like a nice fresh mint scent or something like that. You know what I mean? And that for me as a man, right? That for me, I appreciate the effort. So, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a woman. I don't really go to hair salons. But what's the experience like with you guys? Is it that pampered experience? You walk in and then there's a glass of champagne waiting for you. Like, what's
Probably
it like?
Not that intense, but we are known for our customer service. I think that's what makes us one of the best salons in Penrith. And that's essentially it's about you guys. It's not about us. So I think where customer service meets passion, that's really beautiful. You've obviously got your in and outs, which suit some people and lifestyles. And then obviously you've got people who want to give you that whole experience. We can take it a little bit longer. And then you've got the hybrids. So, I mean, my salon and my staff are amazing and we really care about the customer and the experience. You don't have a champagne on arrival, but you sit down, you get welcomed, you get greeted, you have a consultation, and then that's offered to you as part of the service. So I know there are some really high-end ones that do that, and then there's some that don't really care, but I'm big on like being like a family culture. So, you're walking up and you're feeling welcomed and you're feeling like you're one of us from the very beginning, from end to end. So we do really focus, and I feel like we do that really, really well. And that's something I'm always pushing and striving for. And that comes out within me naturally, which is then filtered down through my team to the point where clients are like, we just hang out, like just come sit in the lounge, just because they love the culture and the environment. So if there's anything that I do well in my space, apart from obviously my skill, we've all got our pros and cons, but I really pride myself on, building culture and community. And I think that's extended everywhere through my life, not just in business.
That's exemplary leadership, right? And that's the flow-on effect. And it's even funny, like just even the other day I was talking about leading by example with your children. And in some cases, your staff are kind of like your children in a way, right?
Yeah, I say I have like 22 kids, literally.
100%.
So many.
Yeah, absolutely right. So I look at that and I go, well, yeah, it's the same principle applies in all aspects of your life where, you really do need to lead by example. And if you're that person, if you're setting the example to them, and you're managing it well, and you can, you don't fold under pressure and things like that, and you really show those around you who you truly are and how you truly can be in the face of others and how you can offer the best possible service. There's absolutely, no doubt that all of your staff are just brilliant. Is there like a high demand for people wanting to work at your salon at all? Or?
All of my key like senior staff, they've all looked in and said that we want to work here, or they've done their research on salons and chosen my place to work, which is amazing. So, or that's the best part. They've all just come to me organically, and they're my longest standing, and they're amazing. Within the industry, all my team is amazing, like I said, but within my industry, I think the key struggle is apprentices, because it is hard work to get to the end. And some of the first, second years, you're not doing a lot of hair, and more like in my space, there's a lot more cleaning and training to be involved, because we want you to be the best person that you can. We don't like just send you out there and go hope for the best. So we put a lot of time and effort into their training and their education. So I know within my salon, there's a challenge of getting people to that completion date, but when you do, you come out amazing. But yeah, all my staff are amazing to date, so I'm very blessed.
That's good. That's really good. Is there any future expansion plans for the beauty salon at all? Or
there is plans to renovate, and change the space, and I suppose rebrand. We're going to rebrand. It's just waiting for that right time, and then I am building it out to be a franchisable model. So I'm going to be very particular when I say that and who I do that with. But that's the end goal, to be able to have more than one, but with trusted people who I'm happy to be in business with.
So you've got, just going back, sorry, you've got 22 staff that work for you.
Around that. It
Around
fluctuates.
That. Yeah, got you.
20 and 24.
See, that's a lot. I mean, what's the average for most salons?
Depending on the size of the salon, but I think depending on, I've got a big space. And I've got both, so hair and beauty. So, but I would say maybe 10 to 15 for most medium-sized salons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, smaller, you've obviously got your 2 or 3 and a lot of independent ones. But on my scale, I reckon the average would be about 10 to 15.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. Have you ever thought about like running events or anything like that for people, like to learn how to accomplish what you've accomplished so far in the beauty space? Or?
Yes, I love that you're doing this. You're like, I'm going to squeeze it out of you. So look, there are ideas in the pipeline that I do want to build out my own seminars that I can bring other salon owners to sort of talk about how I've achieved my success to the point where like it's under management pretty much. I'm there by choice, which is amazing. And then also just the culture, the building, the staff, and everything that comes with building a successful business. So yes, it's definitely in the pipeline.
Because what's exciting for me is like I'm looking at this, and like after hearing from you, I'm kind of like, I wouldn't mind opening up a salon. Maybe for men's hair. Actually, I don't know if I've told you this, but one of my goals that I want to do is I actually want to open up a charity.
Yes.
And I want to work with a friend of mine, Max Laban. He's a barber himself, and he's actually a very good mentor.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of the charity is to get young men and women off of the streets, who are at risk of going into the juvenile justice system.
I love that.
And then getting them into a mentorship program where not only are they mentored on hairdressing, barbering, etc., and get their certs through it, but also just about values and learning how to be conforming individuals into society and make it all like a melting pot. People that could otherwise hate each other because they're from 2 separate walks of life, can learn to bond and find common ground. So having that mentorship for life. And then what we want to do is I actually want to open up a whole bunch of barbershops and hair salons.
Okay.
and then employ them after they've been trained.
That's amazing.
And then see, a lot of charitable organizations, they stop at employment. I want to take it a step further and say, look, if you get to a point where you want to make the full bill of every client you see, well, then we're gonna take all your tools away, all your products. You're gonna have to save enough money to buy all of your own tools. We'll get them for you at a discount price to give you a bit of an extra step ahead. But we're gonna take it all away from you. You have to pay for it. You have to pay for your chair. You have to pay 1/10 of the electricity bill, 1/10 of this bill. Every time it comes in, you have to pay. Because now it's not just teaching them entrepreneurship. It's also teaching them transferable life skills.
100%.
So for me, I'm like, that's something for me that I'd really like to get off the ground running. And I think from a business point of view, because I'm so good at business, charities, right? They depend on donations and things like that. I'm looking at it going, I reckon that entire charity of training these young men and women into the profession would give them we would actually use all the profits that come from all the hair salons to power the charity, and we wouldn't actually need funding. Do you know what I mean? So that's part of my goal. Is I'm kind of looking at it going, I wouldn't mind doing this.
Absolutely. It's a brilliant idea. You've kind of spoken a few of my languages in all of that. I think further to my industry is the amount of people that I get to talk to on a daily basis, or when I was in there full time, and just realizing the common struggles, as well as looking at society, as well as looking what fills my cup and giving back in my own journey. So life coaching, I definitely think that's amazing. And I love the fact that you don't just want to just give the money. You want to teach them skills that are going to get them through their life like that. I love that. That's amazing. And I'd be happy to work with you to move forward on something like that. That's awesome.
I'm very, very open to it, and I love collaborators, definitely.
I'm just very passionate again about the next generation. I think it's now our time to help those ones, like change it. Like if we're going to have an impact, they're the ones that we need to help.
Yeah, totally.
Help move them through the next generation so that they have the skills and the knowledge to then impact once, we're no longer around. So I'm very passionate about that. Even when I got my working with children's check, because I'm very passionate about that. And I know that's like from being a teenager and having imposter syndrome and all those things, and judgment and all those things that come with being a teenager. That time is so crucial to be educated and nurture them.
Absolutely.
To get them through, and like leaving them with a positive impact, for sure.
I couldn't agree more with you. And that's the thing, right, is that how many other people out there that would love to hear from you? I reckon, and we'll put a poll up on this podcast. We'll ask the question up on YouTube and stuff like that. But here's an ultimate question to ask, and that's how many people would love to learn about your journey, how you got there, what you learned along the way. I'm dead set. If you held a seminar, I would be there, and I'd be in the audience, right? Because I want to learn.
My question is,
what
would you love most to hear about?
So I think storytelling is important.
Yes,
so this is the thing about information that's online. The information that you get online doesn't come with a story of how that information was found. It just tells you the information and gives you the answer. So what that does is, from an education standpoint, is it actually makes it really hard for someone to learn, because they're just being told, they're being handed on a silver platter. They're not given the ability to either. So there's two ways that people solidify their learning, right? Number one is by practice. So they actually have to go and do it, and then they have to learn a way that they do it best. But then the other way is also through relating. So if you see, sometimes people have already learned what you're teaching them, but it's subconscious to them and it's not conscious. And that's what leads to things like imposter syndrome and identity crises. See, if you have a story that goes with what you learned, it makes it relatable for me to look back at my journey and go, oh, I've already learned this. I just wasn't made aware.
I think it's important to find someone you connect with, because you're right, there's so much information, but there's certain people that you just align with or connect with on your journey that you can relate, and then it makes it more easy to take on that advice or, that blueprint of how it was done and implement that into your life. So I'm definitely happy to do something like that, because there is a story everyone's got a story, I believe. So I think mine will help inspire people to be their best selves, basically, and give them the confidence to move forward in what they want to achieve, no matter what that looks like.
I feel like you're leaning more into the life coaching side of things now. Like,
Yes.
is that a passion of yours? Is that something
Yes, it
that's on the
is.
horizons?
It is. So as much like I'm good at business and I love business, but I'm also, through doing my own work and through my own journey, without me as a pillar of strength and being whole and fulfilled, there is nothing else flows. So I believe that you can do all the things that you want to do, but you need to put yourself first. I always say, it's selfless to be selfish. Because if you think about, if you're not your best self, then no one else is getting the best version of you. And the best version of you is positive, has impact, spreads, like, do you know what I mean? You're putting all the right things back into the universe. So I am very passionate about, looking at yourself as a person and what it is that you want to achieve, but what do you need to do within yourself to be the best version of yourself, to then go and continue to do that and continue to have positive impact, positive mindset for yourself and all those around you, especially children.
That's right. And, it's so hard. Sometimes you can, like you have conversations with people and then they're not feeling it and it's not sinking in for them. And, I think that's where someone has to be really rock bottom to start seeing the change. But then, like, the thing is that you don't want to leave it until it's rock bottom to do that. And I think that a lot of people need to shift that mindset that they have, where it's, oh no, I'm fine, oh no, I'm fine, and actually get into the practice of continually working on themselves and journaling and reflecting and reading books and listening to podcasts like this one, right?
Yeah.
To go and reflect, learn, and constantly improve, right? So be open-minded to, oh, wow, I listened to David Goggins, audio book with Can't Break Me, and I learned something new and I went, wow, like that's amazing. And I'm going to implement that into my life now. So a lot of people, they wait until something bad happens to go and listen to that audio book.
I want to break. Like, why do we have to hit rock bottom? Why do we have to wait till something's bad? If we can instill confidence within people to even just be open-minded, even if they're not ready to commit to making a small action, or just being open-minded and start opening their minds of what the possibility looks like before, to prevent getting to rock bottom.
Absolutely.
That would be ideal.
Absolutely.
Although rock bottom has made some, most people come back from that tenfold in such a positive way. But I mean, for people like you and I who have hit rock bottom, if we can just be there for people to avoid those situations and still have the same impact and growth as a person.
Yeah, why take the scenic route when you can get the highway?
Well, yeah.
And that's what I look at, definitely.
There's options. We don't all have to hit rock bottom.
Absolutely.
There's other ways, guys.
Absolutely. Now, look, this is really good. So the life coach, what's the time frame for that, you reckon?
That one's closer to being launched. So I'm just in the back end of finalizing like insurances, stuff like that. It's called Beauty in Your Own Lane. And
one more time, is it out loud?
Beauty in Your Own Lane. So
Beauty in Your Own Lane.
You'll see it marketed as be-all, like, because, like Sass Lib, be-all, like, fuck it. Let's do it.
I love
Beauty in Your Own Lane. So
love it.
That's the story on its own. I love how that came to me, which I can share one day. That's part of the brand story, which is pretty amazing. But what that looks like is, and what Beauty in Your Own Lane stands for is, I know with myself, we've all done things in our lives and we've all made decisions. And I had people make me feel like held ransom to that. And I was like, why did I allow somebody to make me feel so low and so worthless? So it was all about finding what you want to do. For me personally, as long as the values and the morals aligned with me, because I'm all about, being a good human and stuff like that. Why should we allow anybody to anyone's judgment or opinion affect what we want to do? Why do we care so much what other people think? I think if we put the same energy into into our own lane, basically, like just focus on what we're doing, and from the outsider in, then further out saying like, why do you care? Like challenging people, like, why do you have an opinion? Why do you feel the need to be negative? and challenging people, because I really do think your words are so powerful, and it's a fine line of people not wanting to be here, because I'm not shy in saying that I didn't want to be here at one point.
There's this amazing thing in the Bible, right? I don't want to make this religious, overly religious, but there's this thing in the Bible where it talks about forgiveness. And when someone hurts you, you don't have to forgive them for their actions, right? So it's like not specifically, I'm trying to find the words to put this together, right? But it's not specifically forgiving them for their actions, but it's a matter of forgiving them, right? And not letting their actions affect you.
Of course.
Do you know what I
But
mean?
so many people do.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can we create awareness to tell people, unless it's something positive, don't say, like that good old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. If someone wants to do something, just support them. Like if it's morally and ethically above board and it makes them happy, then who are we to have an opinion on what people are doing?
Hey, yes, you, I'm talking to you. And I know it looks like the interview, but it's actually not. We're taking a really quick, short break so that way you can hear me out. I really want you to hear me out here. If you are a business owner, you are building your personal brand. I mean, you could be anyone. You could be a real estate agent. You could be an astronaut, an IT professional. It really doesn't matter who you are and where you fit into the world. This interview is great for you. If you're really struggling to make content, and let's face it, right? When we get our phones out and we're like, taking selfies and doing videos that way, it just comes across as inauthentic. And the other side of that as well is the fact that it's just so hard to come up with ideas of what kind of content to create. And this is where our interviews absolutely bring a powerhouse and an arsenal of, basically a war chest in terms of your organic content marketing that you're creating. We create the TikToks and Reels for you. Here's the thing. I've got some great news. The great news is that this interview is completely free. We boost your SEO on Google because we go and feature these videos like the one you're watching on YouTube. And not only that, but we also give you free content to post to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all the rest of it as well. So if you haven't already, in the description down below is a link to Linktree where you'll see the opportunity for you to book your very own interview and get free content for your personal brand or your business as well. I'll see you on the other side of the screen. That's one of my goals this year as well is actually, and it's like, I'd love your take on this, right? Because one of my goals for this year is telling people what they need to hear, even if they don't like it. So where does the fine line between, being negative versus being constructive?
So, okay, because this is a tough one and I like to be constructive. So I think importantly to be careful with that one. I would just ask them, like, are you wanting some feedback on how this is a perspective on my end as an outsider with no emotion involved? How would you like some feedback on things that I've learned along my journey that have helped me, whatever that may be, like communicate with someone else better or have more of a positive impact or whatever that looks like. I think asking the question.
Good answer.
Unless you're obviously close enough to be able to just give that unwarranted. But I think asking the question if people want that feedback.
Good answer. And you know what's so important? It's not just about friendships. It's not just about business relationships, even romantic relationships.
Absolutely.
Number one, pre-framing. So before you even ask the question of whether they want feedback or not, pre-frame it.
Yeah.
Tell that person that, I'm just repeating what you said, right, in a very simple way, but pre-framing it, making sure that they understand your intentions.
Yes, absolutely.
Then asking if they want feedback. So ask the question.
Open-minded to maybe what they're going through, because I truly believe every action is on the back end of, a reaction. Like if we actually start to break down and speak to people, so many people are actually hurting and in pain.
Newton's law, right? Every action has an equal or opposite reaction.
Absolutely.
True.
So, and a lot of what we say is a projection of internal representation. So I think it's important to unpack that and get it right. And then you can come together and have, a conversation where it's literally open and constructive and positive rather than being the opposite way. But yeah, definitely asking the question would be my advice.
Yeah, definitely. Look, Oh man, it's this is I said it at the start that this was going to be a breath of fresh air, and it is, right? This is really good. So Liv, when are we going to see a seminar? When can we start seeing the life coaching? Because I think after people listen to this interview, I think it definitely needs a follow-up interview with more details, but I think people are going to walk away from this feeling inspired and going, who the fuck is Liv and how do I get to know her, right? So
that's the goal.
When can we expect that? When can we expect to see some of these things launched? Where can we find them?
Instagram, Beauty in Your Own Lane, or BIYOL, BIYOL. That's hopefully launching within the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Pushing towards that. Seminars, look, there is a lot of talk about people wanting to do that. So again, just refining on finding out what people need and want, and then I'm happy to present on that. So looking forward to any feedback if you have any, or any topics that you'd love. But yeah, I would like to try and do something within the year, even if it's just a short seminar, like an hour or a 2 hour seminar on something within personal or life, because like I've mentioned, I do believe it all connects. So literally spiritually, physically, mentally, all of it, it all aligns. So hopefully within next year, but Beauty in Your Own Lane, definitely within the next 2 months.
So there's at Kusula, Kusula, right?
Yes.
Kusula Powerhouse has an auditorium that is available for hire for a half day for, I think, $600. Okay. And it is a full-on, it's a proper theatre. Like it's a proper, you're at the bottom and then there's literally chairs going upwards.
Wow.
All your screens, all the lighting, like it's literally, you can customize it. You can even have it where like in your introduction, you can make it dark with just red lights or something. And then as you come on stage, it comes on, really, really exciting stuff. You could do all of that and it all fits in with underneath the $1,000 budget.
Okay, perfect.
So, if you sat there,
just get on Eventbrite, run it.
Absolutely.
I'll send you the link.
For $1,000, bang, book it in. And all you do have to do is put all your materials together.
What would you want me to talk about? If you were going to come sit in my seminar, what's one topic you'd want me to focus on?
Well, one thing that's really important is I do want to learn more about the beauty space. Okay. So, how to run a successful salon or barbershop or whatever it is. Yeah. I know for you, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're probably more focused on women in that space as opposed to men.
Not necessarily.
No?
I'm just, again, part of when I share my story of what I've been through, why is it specific? We are all important.
Yeah.
As humans. So men, women, whatever, don't mind. If you can come and have any value, and like I have Steve in my salon who's a male, and he's the most amazing upstyle person. Like I actually don't want to put limits on anything. If you're a man or you're a woman and you have value, like you find value in it and you're interested, come along. Absolutely.
So I definitely want to learn. Maybe you could make it 2 parts. Maybe you could make it about beauty salons. So maybe you could make it hyper niche, where it's learn about beauty salons and then also learn about life skills and things like that.
Hair and beauty and then life.
So, and then that can be your target market to start with, and then maybe they grow in different directions.
Possibly.
Maybe. But I don't see any harm in combining the two, because I would really...
I think leadership, and the key to running a successful salon is to have a salon manager or someone looking after that salon that is excellent in leadership. Otherwise, you're going to be there. So I think that's probably my key to like being in there and growing it and establishing all your values and morals and overseeing it and being that constant mentor for everybody, but then having your sidekick who's going to help share your vision and help build your brand out in the same ways. That's the best way to have the multiple and so successful.
Yeah, absolutely. That is brilliant. I love that. So if you were to do that, bang, I'll be there. I'll be the first ticket.
I'll work on it.
I'll buy the first ticket.
Coming soon.
100%. So Instagram handles, where can we find you on Instagram? All of them. Give me all of them. Yeah,
right.
Give us all of them.
So personal brands, you've got Liv Marie. I think I'm going to have to get these back to you. You're going to have to put them in a link. And then you've got Insignia Hair Day Spa, or Insignia Salon, that's a salon. And then you've got BIYOL, so Beauty in Your Own Lane. And then me just personally, Liv Marie. So you obviously got me, all about my life, then my personal brand within the hair and beauty industry. So like from, like I said, the salon to running events to training to educating. And then obviously have I told you I'm a distributor for a product within Australia, New Zealand. So it's a product that I've discovered whilst in my salon. So it was brought to me. So it's a professional hair treatment, but obviously you've got your retail shampoos. So I'm now actually Australia national distributor for that. So that's exciting.
Look at you.
That's Innovatus if anyone wants to follow. So that's currently what I'm focusing on. So I'm out in the salons, being a rep, doing demonstrations, educating. So that's all very exciting as well.
That's brilliant. And you have a personal brand website as well at all, or?
Not a website yet.
Do you have the domains registered, like oliviamangold.com or anything?
Not Mangold. I've just got Liv Ju Marie. That's what I'm rolling
Liv
with.
Ju Marie.
LJM.
Yeah, LJM. So yeah, that's brilliant.
I'm working on it.
we'll drop the link. So what we'll do is we'll drop that link inside the YouTube video as well. And then when you do get it up and running, because what's going to be really good is on that website, we're going to have all of your brands listed, right? So that way we can send people to one place and they can go, this company, this web URL, this Instagram, this Facebook, this TikTok, etc., and they can go through it and get through it really quickly and easily, so they'll be able to find it quite well.
Coming soon. Working.
Absolutely.
Loading. Have you got the loading signal?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It's so good.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, Olivia. Not a problem at all. It was, like I said, it was a breath of fresh air. I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And guys, you've heard that. All the links are going to be in the YouTube video. If you want to reach out to Olivia as well about, asking her a question about her journey, you can email us as well. It's support@launchday.au. If you want to get in touch with Olivia directly, more than happy to go and put you in touch and give you guys a hand. And for those that are in business that are listening, we have just announced that we're going to be doing free 15-minute podcasts that include one free video clip as well. So we're going to be taking bookings for that almost right away. And it's going to be really exciting because you get to walk away with a piece of content that you can showcase, who you are and what you do, and we'll take it from there. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again on the next Launch Day Short.